second wave of COVID-19 cases is hitting Europe like a tsunami. Take a look at these numbers. Leaders frantic, trying to get a grip on the intensifying crisis that you see reflected here. In Germany, nearly every major city in the country is now a virus hotspot. Stuttgart asking the military for help fighting the pandemic. And we will hear about new restrictions very shortly from the British Prime Minister, Boris Johnson, about to unveil a three-tiered system of alerts for England. And that is not without controversy. Our correspondents are tracking developments across Europe for you. In fact, they are in the sort of nerve centres of power, as it were. CNN's Nick Robertson standing by for us outside 10 Downing Street in London. First, let's get you to Scott McLean, who is near the Reichstag in Berlin. What is the story there? What's the feeling on the ground as well? We keep reporting these numbers, and certainly, Scott, you know, the picture is very worrying. How are people feeling in Germany?
Hey, Becky, look, Germans have been quite good up until this point of following all of the coronavirus restrictions, but there seems to be a bit of a fatigue setting in as to what they can and cannot do. And you can certainly understand that. Germany had one of the best coronavirus responses in Europe. It seemed to have tackled the virus this summer, was quite good, with cases quite low. The death toll was a quarter of what the UK had recorded. It was even sending ventilators to other countries because they had a surplus. And so Germany had all the reasons in the world to do a sort of coronavirus victory lap, but now things seem to be getting out of control. Almost all large cities in this country are now considered coronavirus hotspots. Stuttgart is even calling in the military for help. And here in Berlin, well, this is the hottest of hotspots. In fact, not nightclubs, but bars and restaurants have had to close early starting just this past weekend because of this spike in cases, which is quite the blow for a city which is really famed for its nightlife. Today is also the beginning of the fall break, so 2 weeks off of school. You would think that this would be prime time for Germans to go on holiday, but right now it's not so appealing to go abroad given the web of rules and quarantine restrictions in other countries. It's also not very appealing in many cases to go from a so-called high-risk area like Berlin or like some of the other big cities in this country to other parts of Germany even, because each state makes their own rules and it is a real hodgepodge. And so in some cases, the states or the areas require you to have a negative test within the last 48 hours before checking into a hotel room. In other cases, you have to have that negative test and then also quarantine on top of that. So that is leading to really long lines at testing sites in these high-risk areas like Berlin. It's also leading to a lot of cancellations in some of these tourist destinations. The health minister has warned about the uncontrolled spread of the virus, but at least from what we heard today from officials, Becky, it seems like a second nationwide lockdown isn't so much on the agenda because, like the UK, this government's priority is getting the economy restarted and getting schools or keeping schools open.